Spring is here on the East Coast, and that means it's time for me to figure out my spring and summer knits. In this video, I'll show you 5 patterns that have recently caught my eye and talk about the yarn I want to use from my stash to make them. Hi, welcome to Musing Maker. I'm Harriet. I've been a knitter and crocheter for over 40 years now. This channel is where I come to talk about the various projects that I get up to in the field of the fiber arts. If you're like me, as soon as the weather warms up, you start thinking about either finishing up or setting aside the woolly winter sweater projects and checking out the tank tops and short sleeve sweaters that you can knit. In my case, I have a lot of stash yarn that I can dive into to make some of these projects. So in this video, I'm going to share 5 projects that caught my eye. Okay, so the first project is one that I saw on the Fruitful Hands knitting podcast, and Diana was wearing it, I believe, in the last episode, and it is Pier 39 by Isabel Kraemer. So although this pattern indicates that it should be knit with a fingering weight yarn, the gauge is actually 22 stitches for 4 inches or 10 centimeters. So that, to my mind, sort of moves it into a little bit of a sport weight category, and the suggested needle size are US 3 and US 2.5. So I have a lot of Holstgarn Coast, which is a wool cotton blend, and I really like this yarn because it's very light, very airy. It's really good for things like shawls and summer tops. And I also have a little bit of a light green hempathy yarn. And so I'm thinking that I might try to hold the Coast double and pair it with this hempathy. The only thing that's kind of giving me pause is the different texture, right? So I'm not sure that might affect the drape a little bit. So I think it's something that I definitely want to swatch. So what sort of started me on this deep dive into thinking about summer tops is knowing that I had a lot of Elspeth Levold's hempathy, which I really like as a summer weight yarn. So the pattern that I've decided I'm definitely going to knit with the hempathy is the Kaylie top by Therese Chenowyth, and that has a gauge of 22 stitches and 30 rows over 4 inches or 10 centimeters, and I have a lot of a really nice red hempathy that I bought a lot of I don't even know how many years ago, probably 10, because it was on sale. Another pattern that's competing for my hempathy stash yarn is the Over the Top tee by Heidi Kirrmaier. I've knit a lot of patterns by Heidi Kirrmaier, and I actually like them very much. This one has a gauge of 23 stitches and 32 rows over 4 inches or 10 centimeters, and it's supposed to be knit with a US 2. And this pattern actually does suggest hempathy as a yarn that you could use. The thing that I like about hempathy is that it does bloom a lot when it when you wash it and block it. It will bloom a great deal, and so it gets a nice drape to it. When you're first knitting with it, it really feels like you're knitting with twine, but you have to trust the yarn, and in my experience, it's given me some of the summer tops that I like best. In that same vein, another top that I'm thinking about making is the Space Tank by Heidi Kirrmaier. The only reason I'm kind of holding off on this possibility is that I do have, again, it's one that could work with hempathy because we're looking at the 22 stitches and 30 rows over 4 inches. The only reason I'm holding off is that I kind of already have a tank that I made in hempathy, so I don't know if I want to. Hey, thank you so much for sticking around to this point in the video. If you haven't already, just wanted to take a minute to encourage you to subscribe. Helps push this content out to more viewers just like you. Now back to the video. So the last pattern is one that I actually looked at a while ago, and it's a very popular one. It's the SABAI top by Suzanne Mueller. And this one is knit with more of a DK weight gauge of yarn, I think. So the gauge is 20 stitches over 4 inches, 10 centimeters, and it's knit with a US 6. So that is attractive to me in the sense that, unlike the other tops that have, you know, very tiny needles to work on, this one kind of works with larger needles, and I actually have quite a bit of Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock Light in the color Driftwood, and I think that that would be a really nice one. The only thing that might give me pause on that is that that Driftwood color is a really light color, which would be good for summer, but I could also simply hold the Coast yarn that I have double. And for those of you who stuck around to the end, here's a bonus pattern that I found really interesting that I think I'm going to probably use as a gift for a friend, and that is Valentina Bogdanova's Reina de Pica. And this one is this beautiful lace work top, and I think I have a really nice wool silk blend from Plymouth Reserve. It's a yarn that I got a long time ago that has beautiful drape to it, and it actually matches the gauge of this. The recommended gauge is 25 stitches over 4 inches, and I have it in the color Carbon, and it's meant to be worked on a US 4. And so I think that this this would make just a really beautiful, classy, dressy top that I think a young friend of mine would really like and really get a lot of use out of. Okay, so that's it for the summer tops that I'm sort of thinking about working on. Drop a comment down below if you found a pattern that you find really interesting and are thinking about working on, and I will see you here again soon. Thank you so much for watching.